Hey everyone, Phi Farley here, going into the best bet week 9 college football. What a year. I can't believe it's already week 9. It's been good. Last week, split the week. Looking to get, this week we got a lot of great games, and I'm going to post these over on patreon.com/Phi Farley. Check those out. I'm excited to do so. I got a best bet. I want to break down for you in 1 second. First, let me say thank you to subscribers. I appreciate it. Those of you over on patreon.com/Phi Farley, I appreciate that even more. And for those of you who've been following along through baseball playoffs, got my pick tonight out. Check out that other video on weekdays best bet. And then don't forget to check out the NFL best bet, as that's been on fire. So happy to keep that going. Even though last weekend was rough, this weekend's going to be a better weekend. I like the plays this weekend. Unlike last weekend, I was a little skeptical on them. But college football, so much more. And then we got NBA. I'm going to start posting, by the way, NBA over there. So far, it's been great. I actually wish I was already posting, but I like to get a few plays in to make sure, the rails are on the track before I start posting plays out there on Patreon. So I wish I would have, because it's been tremendous so far. But anyway, I'll get those posted out there. So that's coming, and then before too long, we're about a week away from college basketball starting as well. So there's going to be so much content. Just an FYI, quick disclaimer on patreon.com/Phi Farley. I'm only going to put NBA and college basketball up in those top tiers. So if you want those, make sure you're at the I Want It All level, so you get all my picks for everything. Because I'm not, those are not my best bets. I'm focusing on football right now and the World Series. Once that stuff winds up, then I'll start focusing on basketball a little bit more. So, all right, let's talk about the best bet here this weekend. Again, a lot to choose from. I was breaking a lot of games down. In fact, my brain's going a little. I've looked at a lot of numbers here, so hopefully I get the numbers right on this game, as I've been capping a lot of different games, a lot of good spots. I think we really are going to exploit a really good spot here with at a 1 o'clock kickoff in North Carolina, Chapel Hill. We got Duke coming into town playing the Tar Heels. So the Tar Heels are coming off a tough game against Virginia Tech, and Duke, meanwhile, coming off a brutal loss last weekend against Virginia, which they were very just sloppy with the football. I mean, 6 turnovers is completely unacceptable, and you're going to get a 48-14 score when you have 6 turnovers in one game. Meanwhile, North Carolina, pretty clean game, even battle at Virginia Tech. It was a close game all the way beginning to end, went 6 overtimes, end up losing it in the 6th overtime. First time they've had that rule, the new rule after 5, where you just go straight for 2, and ended up not getting the job done. Virginia Tech gets the win. Now they're back home against Duke. Both these teams are pretty even matched, and that's what we got. We're getting 3.5 in this one. And so basically we're saying home field's worth 3 or 3.5. Duke maybe a half point better. But we're getting Duke, who is coached extremely well, very bright team, smart players, going on the road to North Carolina off a terrible game in which they had 6 turnovers. So similarly, we had the Pitt game in which they had 5 turnovers and blew a 23-point lead, which on the Pitt side, so nice job, those of you that were. They blow the 23-point lead, come back and play a perfectly clean game against Georgia Tech, 0 turnovers the next weekend, and then they fall right back into the bad habits with the turnovers against Virginia. I believe that they're, with the well-coached team, with the smart players that they have, that they're going to get back to a clean game against North Carolina, who's going to be on their heels. Now, one thing to note, while this game looks pretty even, the better defense is Duke. Duke averages 4.6 points per play, number 32, I believe, in the country. Meanwhile, North Carolina, 5.6 yards per play on their defense, which I believe was 65th. Again, here's where the numbers are coming in, but they're much higher when it comes to the overall standing, but it was 5.6 yards per play on defense, which is a pretty significant advantage in favor of Duke. I've watched Duke play a couple times this year. The corners are pretty darn good. They're tough to throw against, and as long as they're not fumbling the ball and turning the ball over, they're going to be in good shape. Now, one other thing to note, North Carolina really doesn't blow anyone out. They've yet to blow anyone. Matter of fact, including Georgia Tech, that's not a huge win to win by 16 against Georgia Tech. But if we go across the line, if you were to give 3.5 to the other team, you're taking away one of these wins. South Carolina, the win by 24-20, so just 4 points there. Miami, 28-25. I believe Duke is better than Miami. That was at home, similar situation, and they win by 3. At Wake Forest, they lose 24-18. Appalachian State at home, they lose 34-31. And then Clemson, that really close game, they were probably looking ahead here into that Clemson game, 21-20. Dropped that heartbreaker, and then going on the road. So a lot of close games. And then, of course, Virginia Tech overtime game, they lose by 2. So very, very, very close games here. Now they have Duke, very well coached, coming into town off a loss where they were very sloppy with the football. I bet they hold on to that ball. They create more turnovers than they give up, and they win this game outright at a 3.5-point dog. So I'm going to take Duke Blue Devils in North Carolina, who's burnt out after 6 overtimes with Virginia Tech, with a not as good defense. I'll take the better defense, the better coach, and the higher motivated spot with Duke. So there you go. Best bet of the weekend, Duke plus the 3.5. Grab that 3 and a hook while you can. It may come down to 3 by the time we get to Saturday. So good luck, everyone, this weekend. Check out my other picks. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you again soon.